Hello all and welcome to the Mug Life DIY. I am Julia and I am super excited to bring you two awesome Christmas DIYs. So before I get into it, this is part of the Heidi Sonboul's DIY challenge. I will have the playlist to this challenge in her channel linked in my description box so you can check out all the awesome crafters and what they come up with. And also my daughter is apparently wanting to say hello to you all. So sorry about the background noise, but I am taking two of these Dollar Tree Mason. They're like tabletop decor. I've actually had them since last year. So I'm trying to just use what I have laying around my house first. And this little pinecone sign was actually brand new, still in the package, but I received in my craft stash from my mother-in-law. Now the scrapbook paper is from Michael's that I used a 50% or 40% off coupon, and I just adored this tree. Oh, I just thought it was just so fun. So I wanted to try a different technique of tracing out my mason jars for my scrapbook paper. I saw, and I can't remember which one of my friends, they kind of lightly pushed down so that you could see the outline of the object that you want to put your scrapbook paper on. And I think it worked out really well. Of course, I just applied it with my Mod Podge and pressed it down firmly, but I'm going to slow it down for you if you can't see it a little bit better. So after I cut it out, I lightly spritz my scrapbook paper with my water. Well, it doesn't matter which side, you just want to get that paper nice and moldable. And with my foam brush, I applied my Mod Podge pretty generously to my little mason jar. And then I apply my scrapbook paper. Now, my little sponge, I reuse this sponge. I just put it in one of my reusable Ziploc bags, and I have probably used it 50 times. That's why it looks so worn, but it works, and then you don't have to keep buying new foam brushes. Now I lightly outlined my mason jar just with some of my white acrylic paint, and I did not notice until later on that my other mason jar was black. I don't know why, but I do touch that up. I'm taking one of these Dollar Tree little decals that are the snowflakes, and I did have to cut off the little circle knobs because it didn't quite fit in my little pine cone frame. So whatever you're using as that third piece, whether you have maybe 3 of the little mason jars, or if you even just wanted to use a picture frame that you had, you wouldn't have to cut it down, but I'm just using what items I had laying around in my craft stash. I also painted the center part of my little pine cone frame with 2 coats of my white acrylic paint. Now, this little wood piece that I glued all 3 of my pieces together was also from Dollar Tree, but I believe it was from a leftover pumpkin piece. I used that pumpkin little stand-up a while ago. I actually think I used it last year, but I liked how thick it was. I thought it would just give it a little bit more stability versus just using popsicle sticks. And I went ahead and glued my little snowflake down. I left it in the natural color because that's kind of more my personal style. And then I just took some scrap cardboard that I had laying around and drew out a J and a Y, which I am going to trace out, cut out, paint, and of course add some glitter from the Dollar Tree. Also, this pack of glitter sprinkle stuff that I bought from the Dollar Tree is the same pack I have been using in all of my crafts. I use it all of the time, but I try to remember to either sprinkle my crafts inside of something or on top of like that little cookie sheet so that I can dump my leftover excess into my little container that I'm keeping all of it in. And I just think that really works out well because then I'm not wasting it and I can reuse it. And I just glued both of my little letters down to my mason jars and just placed them kind of how I thought they would look good on the mason jars. Now I'm going to be reusing that little twine that was originally on them. I did have to cut it because I could not get it off without cutting it. So if you can be a little bit more careful, you wouldn't have to cut it like I did and just place it back on. but I did re-glue them down, and then I also reused the little twine bows that they had because I thought they were really adorable and just added a nice little finishing touch to the mason jars. Now, flipping over the sign, I did want it to look finished because it's going on my end table, and I really do like to have my projects look as finished as I can, and I never know if someone wants it or I can give it away as a present, so that's just something I tend to do. I always finish the project even if I don't show you guys how I like to have that finishing touch, and I did have to go over it about 2 or 3 coats of my white paint to give it a nice full coverage on the back side. And here's how my little joy sign turned out. It's really fun. It's on my little side table in my living room, and I just really adore it. I love the trees. I love the sparkle with the natural colors. I think it's a different kind of twist on my typical color for Christmas, but let me know what you guys think if you do more traditional or more neutral Christmas colors. I would love to know. All right, for the second project, it's actually a Hobby Lobby inspired dupe, whatever you want to call it. Now, this little nativity sign is a little wood piece, and it's actually the plane, and it's also from Hobby Lobby. I got it last year when I got most of my Christmas stuff. It was either 80 or 90% off, so I literally only paid like I don't even think it was $1. It was crazy, awesome deal. I love stocking up on projects for the next year during that time, so always be on the lookout for when this stuff goes to the extreme on clearance. So I'm just taking my little nativity scene and I am giving it a nice thick coat of black acrylic paint. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would hit that bell icon and like my video. It really helps out my channel and growing, just so I can make sure I know which content you guys are really enjoying and loving. And I would just love to have you as a subscriber so I can get to know you and what kind of crafts you enjoy best. Now I am taking what I have just left over, which is this really large, I believe it was a cardboard box from something that came in the mail. So I just thought this would be a good backing. If you had an actual old frame would work great, or a foam board form. Words are hard, guys. Foam board, that would also work. I'm just basically making as straight of cuts as I can with my ruler, T-square, and then I'm going to be making a inside cut so it looks like an actual frame or mat that I'm going to be using and painting in the black. And I just realized I didn't show you what the Hobby Lobby inspiration piece looked like. I went to Hobby Lobby a few weeks ago with my mom and I saw it and fell in love with it. So that's the inspiration piece, so you can kind of get the vibes that we're going with. Now I'm taking my Dollar Tree Jenga blocks, which I actually just bought this large pack. I don't know if you guys have seen them at your Dollar Trees. It was like double the size of the old packs, so I was super excited about that. It was over in the gift section, and I just thought it was so awesome to find such a great deal in the Jenga blocks. So I'm just gluing them and kind of clamping them together. Now I'm totally going to go back to Harbor Freight and buy another set of these clamps. They have been really awesome. I used them in a couple of videos back, and they're so great. I don't know why I had never thought of buying them before. But now that I had my entire frame with the Jenga blocks, then I kind of lightly glued the front or the back side of my wooden nativity scene to my foam or to my cardboard. I also didn't show this part, but I reinforced my cardboard just with some craft sticks that I had laying around. You could use honestly anything that you had. You could even do a couple layers thick of the cardboard just to give it a nice sturdy backing. And then I just used a few of the craft sticks and attached the backside as well, and added a little bit of my, I believe it's called glue all or super glue. It's the glue from Dollar Tree. I think it works really awesome. I love it. I used it right at the bottom section, and I have never never had any issues with things coming apart with that. And I feel like you guys know my obsession with these beads, but I just keep using them. I just was so excited when I found them. Actually, it's been several Christmases ago that I bought them at the thrift store because we were living in Texas, and it was when we were staying at my in-laws' house. There was a little thrift store there that I absolutely loved, and I found these huge gallon-size wood beads, and I was like, these are great for crafting or decorating, and I jumped so fast on buying them. I believe I got like 3 or 4 bags, so I'm sorry if you guys are over the beads, but I love beads. I love adding them in not just my Christmas decor, but my year-round decor. It's totally the bohemian vibe that I love, and I just like adding that textural piece to my overall aesthetic. I also used some of my Dollar Tree smaller beads at the bottom because I did have to overlap that bottom section, but I glued all of those down, and I think it worked out really nicely with doing that. Now I had a lot, and I mean a lot, of stray glue hairs or whatever we like to call those, so I just used my heat gun and got rid of all of those glue bits. Then I just began. My favorite part is always the transformation, and this piece really popped once I started the painting process, and I love painting, and I hope you guys have started to stretch your comforts of crafting and started painting as well. But I just think it really elevates the piece once I started painting it in the black, and then you can definitely tell it pops when I add the accent of the white. Now, the final section that I did, and I believe it just makes this piece pop. I dry brushed my white acrylic paint just kind of everywhere over it. I really loved how it just adds so much dimension to this piece. Now, if you would want, you could go back and fill those cracks with any kind of filler, but it didn't bother me. And here's how the Hobby Lobby dupe turned out. I absolutely love this nativity scene. I really like how it's different, the silhouette using the black and then the dry brushing of the white. I really hope you guys enjoyed both of my projects today, and that you check out the whole playlist of everyone that is always involved, and it is just so much fun. I love watching all of these creative people on here and just seeing what they come up with. I hope you guys are doing awesome, and you'll let me know which one is your favorite project, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.